The secret to great hair. Flawless. Oh, actually that turned out cute. Okay, we're gonna stick with this. Let's make a festive banner. I've got a crochet option and a non-crochet option for this project. Let's jump right in. So as I mentioned, there's a crochet and a non-crochet option for this project, and the portion that you can customize is the pendants of our banner. I'm personally going to be sharing the crochet version in this tutorial, so I crocheted a bunch of these pendants. If you would like to know how to crochet these pendants, I've got a tutorial about how to crochet triangles. It's my most recent video before this one, so if you want to crochet your pendants, be sure to check out that tutorial. Another option to make the pendants is to use craft felt. Maybe you don't know how to crochet, or maybe you know how to crochet but you would just rather the look of all felt. Here's an easy way to make your pendants. The first thing we want to do is make ourselves a template. I've got a piece of construction paper here and I'm going to fold it in half, making sure that that top edge stays lined up nice and even. The top width of my pendant is just a smidge over 4 inches. I'll call that 4 1/4. You can round down to 4 inches. So what I want to do is I want to measure half of that. So you're going to measure either 2 inches, or if you want to be really precise, 2 1/8 inch. And we're going to measure that 2 1/8 inch from the fold up to the side, and we're going to put a mark there. Then if we look at the height of each of my pendants, they are 5 1/2 inches along the side. So what I want to do is I've got my crease on the right hand side. Here is my mark. It's a little hard to see. I'm kind of coloring it in extra dark so it shows up on camera. I want to put the 0 of my ruler lined up on the edge at this dot. Once I've got the 0 mark lined up with this point on the top edge, I'm going to pivot around that point until I get this 5-inch mark lined up with the crease of paper. Once I've got that lined up, I'm going to take my pencil and draw a line all the way down. Again, this is the fold. I've measured 2 1/8, or just 2 inches if you want to be less precise, along the top away from the fold, and then I've measured 5 inches from that point to the edge, and now we can cut this out to get our template. Once we open it up, we've got a nice template, and all we'll need to do to make our felt triangles is trace the pendant onto our felt and then cut out the felt pieces. I'm going to show the rest of the tutorial using my crochet pieces, but that is how you would go about creating felt pendants instead of the crochet ones. Alright, so whatever kind of pendants you decide to make, you will want to make 14 of them to spell Merry Christmas, or if you want to throw some extra things in there, you will need more. So in my case, I made 17 pendants because I'm going to spell out Merry Christmas, but then I'm going to have 3 that have a snowflake on them. So one will go before the word Merry, one between the words Merry Christmas, and one after the word Christmas. So I have 17 pendants here. And of course, if you're making your banner say something entirely different, just make however many pendants you need to spell your phrase. So the next step is going to be cutting out the things that we're going to put on our pendants. As I said, I'm going to make mine say Merry Christmas and have some snowflakes. I have some stamps here. These letter ones I bought at Walmart a few years back for probably like $5. What I really like about these is you punch out the letters, so it's nice because I can do like a test to see how my stencil, what kind of shape it will make to fit on my pendants. My letters are a little bit bigger than the pendants. Personally, I think that looks really cute. So that lets me test out the look. This snowflake stencil came in a pack from Hobby Lobby. But if you don't have stencils already, or you don't want to spend the money on getting stencils, another option is to pull up a Word document, pull up something like Canva, and find a font that you really like, type out your phrase, and then make the letters really, really big. Then you can print it out and use those printouts as your stencil or your guide for tracing onto the felt. So as I said, my stencils make letters that are a little bit bigger than my pendant. Personally, I think it looks really cute, and I like how I'm able to test the look with these inside pieces of the stencils. So this step is kind of straightforward, and it might be a little hard to see because we're dealing with a whole bunch of white here. We're just going to trace our stencils onto our felt. I am going to flip my letters over backwards, so that way when I trace, the side of the felt that has tracing on it will be the back side of my shape, so I don't have to worry about pencil lines showing up. But whether using stencils or the cutout font, just trace your letters onto your felt. I'm using a pencil to trace my letters, but since I'm taking care to do this on the back side and it won't be seen anyways, you could use a marker or any other thing that you have that will mark on to your felt. I'm trying to be strategic in my letter placement so I maximize my felt that I've got. But these felt sheets were like 99 cents each. Probably got them 40% off because why would I pay full price when I can wait for a sale? So really not too bad at all price-wise. Don't forget, you might have duplicates of some letters, so make sure you trace all the duplicates. Here are my traced out letters. I'm hoping I didn't miss any of them. I think I got them all. I didn't even use a full sheet, and these are 12 by 18. So now what's left is cutting them out. My biggest piece of advice for this is don't sweat it. They don't have to be perfect. It's arts and crafts. Part of the beauty of it is the imperfections and the handmade nature of it. I'm just cutting them out with scissors, but something you could try if you have a cutting mat and an X-Acto knife, that might be a really good way to quickly cut them out and get really nice crisp letters. But don't feel like these have to be perfect. Just go with whatever option works best for you. This is going to take me a little while, probably will take you a little while, so put on a Christmas movie, put on some Christmas music, get your letters cut out, and then I'll meet you for the final step, which is assembly. I've got most of my pieces cut out. My letters turned out so awesome. My snowflakes, not so much. So this is going to give me the perfect opportunity to show you what you can do if you don't have stencils. I'm going to use my iPad to illustrate, but a phone would work really great as well. I went online and found a picture of a snowflake. You can either print this out, or if you don't have a printer available, you can get a piece of paper, lay it on top of your device, make sure to turn the brightness up all the way so you can see through it, and then carefully trace it out. Now, if you're tracing it out, I would recommend using something like a highlighter, a soft tip marker, not anything like a Sharpie, not anything like a pen or pencil, because you don't want to scratch your screen, you don't want anything to bleed through. And I would test a small spot just to make sure you don't ruin your device accidentally. But that's an easy way to create a nice template for your snowflakes, for your letters, or anything that you want to put on your banner. Once your template is ready, you can cut it out. Keep in mind that however easy or difficult it is to cut out your template is how easy or difficult it's going to be to cut it out of the felt. So that's a big part of why I opted for a simpler design and also larger, because there is just way too much detail in the stencil that I was initially trying. Again, this is a very forgiving project. It does not have to be perfect. Here is my stencil, and now I'll trace it onto my felt. That looks good enough. Now, because I traced around the outside of my stencil to get it the same size as my template, I'm going to cut inside of the lines that I marked. And here's what the snowflakes look like once they've been cut out. Now that everything is cut out, it's time for the fun part, which is assembly. I'm going to attach my felt pieces with the Lean's tacky glue, but honestly you can use whatever kind of glue you want. You can use a hot glue gun, whatever works easiest for you. Now in my case, my letters are bigger than my pendants. I'm totally okay with that. I knew that going in. I'm going to glue these on. I'm going to center them left and right as best I can, and I'm going to have the top of the letter line up with the bottom of the top row of crochet stitches. If you have felt triangles, you can be really precise and measure from the top and find the center line, or you can just slap them on there. Honestly, it's still going to turn out cute even if you just slap them on there. So let's get gluing. Since I have overhang, I am being mindful not to go with glue beyond those overhang spots. Just press firmly and leave the glue to dry. If you're assembling your letters using tacky glue, I want to give you a few tips to make this process go easier. First of all, tacky glue tends to get caught down in the end of the bottle. To get it to the tip really easily, hold the end of the bottle and do a windmill. You might have seen that hack. People use it for ketchup and condiments. It works for this as well. Second thing is, if your letters are bigger, flip it upside down so the side you want to glue is face up. And when I apply glue, anything that's hanging over the edge, I won't apply glue there. That's a good way to make sure the glue is not going to be applied to the part that's going to hang off of your pendant. Another thing, so that way you don't have to constantly send the tacky glue back to the tip, I've got a plastic cup here, and I'm standing the bottle of tacky glue upside down in the cup, so it'll catch any drips and I don't have to constantly knock the glue back down to the end. Now, one last tip. Let's say you get some tacky glue on you while you're working. It's very easy to clean up. Even if you don't have water, all you have to do is just rub your fingers back and forth, and the tacky glue is going to roll up and you can just brush it off your hands into the trash can. No more sticky. If while you're gluing you end up not putting enough glue in a certain spot where it doesn't stay down, fortunately it's very easy to just lift the felt back, apply more glue, and then press it down to get it to stay in place. Now that my pendants are assembled and the glue has dried, it's time to string it all together. You can go about this however you want. I'll show you what I'm doing. I'm going to use this scrap of green crochet thread, and I'll use a crochet hook to help me. I'm just going to run the thread through the corner of my banner. Something about like that. Of course, if you're using felt instead of crochet for your triangles, you will want to punch a hole through them. You can use a hole punch, you can fold it over and make a little notch with scissors, however you want to go about it. You could even glue your string to your pendant. I like to keep it where I can slide and adjust it just because I think it makes it easier to decorate with. Got my first one on here, and I'm just going to keep threading it on through my pendants, and hopefully I do them in order and don't have to undo things and go back. If you enjoyed this project, please let me know by leaving a like on the video. And if you're new here, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel. I've got some more Christmas crochet things in the work for the rest of the year, so I'm really excited to share those with y'all. Now, I do want to hear from everyone down in the comments, where would you decorate with this pendant? Would you put it in front of a fireplace, in front of a doorway, along a wall? Where would you decorate with this? I want y'all to share your ideas because y'all are so creative and you inspire me. But wherever you decide to hang your banner, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Happy crafting!